Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Secret Transmissions. I am your host, codename Fulcrum. You can also call me Nick. And we have a couple very special guests today, some great friends, and they they are some big Ahsoka Tano fans, stands, I would say. And this whole episode is based on Ahsoka and talking both. The evolution of the character through the Clone Wars, through Rebels, Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, and all the way up to the new series. But before we get too far, let's bring them out. First off, we have Bucky, also known as
Hello.
gingersareplants. Hello.
Hiya.
And we also have Christina, Boba Fett.
Hello.
Hello. How are you all doing today?
I'm doing very good. I'm doing very good.
Also doing good. As these two know, I'm under a tornado watch right now, so if I flee suddenly, that is why.
I do expect a Obi-Wan Kenobi out in the rain, like sending a message to the Jedi Council. I expect a message like that. This is Boba Fett.
I will definitely risk my life during a tornado to do that. Totally.
I should not have put that idea in your head. That's horrible. But yeah, so you were now warned with all of that. But to get started, we've got our, of course, topic today is Ahsoka. I just love that image. There, Ahsoka. I know. So we're all big Ahsoka Tano stands. But before we get started on talking specifically about Ahsoka, why do each of you love Ahsoka? First of all, let's start round table. Let's go. I know that's a big question. Or at least I should rephrase. What are things you love about the character?
Oh man, what's there not to love? it's I don't know. It's for myself. I think part of it was that I really got attached to her, and she meant a lot to me because when I first was really getting into Clone Wars was when I was Ahsoka's age. And so very much seeing myself in her, and then because it was honestly I got really into the Clone Wars during the right at the beginning of quarantine. And so it's kind of seeing this fellow teenager going through this huge life event kind of thing, and figuring out who she was, and her path forward was something that I really connected to. And then it's just kind of the everything she stands for is also just, she's just an incredible character, man. It's something, it's hard not to love her. So, but I think that's the main thing when I think of why I love Ahsoka Tano. It's because I would see myself a lot in her.
Yeah, I can understand that. Christina, what about you?
To add to what Bucky said, there are things of myself that I see in her, although I liken myself more to Hera than Ahsoka. She embodies everything that I think the Jedi should be. There's Ahsoka, Qui-Gon, and Kanan, and those three for me are what I think is at the heart of being a Jedi, even though she's no Jedi right now. She follows her heart no matter what, similar to Anakin, but without that draw to the dark side. She is fiercely loyal and strong, and what I also love about her, if we ignore her tube top, they haven't sexualized her at all, and I really appreciate that. Especially when it comes to science fiction, even with Princess Leia, they get over sexualized, and they did not do that to her, and I really, really, really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So speaking of which, season one. Of course, we've got season one Ahsoka there with Anakin and Obi-Wan.
That god awful tube top.
God, I hate that tube top.
I know.
It's so bad. The pure joy I felt seeing the Tales of the Jedi trailer and seeing her in just a sensible crop top meant the world to me.
Yeah.
It's just like a sensible crop top, not that god awful tube top. It was Thank you. Thank you. We can just forget about this.
Don't let George
Please.
Lucas pick costumes anymore.
No, that
No.
man,
Fired.
don't let that man near women. Like writing women, please, please, George, you need to stop. You need to stop.
And I know there's all this discourse, even the last couple days, about
Oh,
female
God.
characters and women in Star Wars. It's like it
Oh
never
man,
ends.
it never stops. There
It
there
never
always
stops.
is, and
Yeah.
it's exhausting. It's just exhausting.
Yeah, I was actually at first I wasn't surprised, or I was surprised, and then I realized I shouldn't be surprised when people were complaining that Kay from the new video game was going to be
Yeah.
a woman, and I was like, oh no, that's pretty on brand for a lot of the toxic fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's where we're still at. And I even posted like a couple different posts in the last week about like the misogyny, like that the misogyny in Star Wars topics came up again. People got enraged on like YouTube for something like from like 4 years ago, and that was something that Leslie Headland was saying in regards to the misogyny that is in the film industry, and when it comes to that auteur myth of there's the only one person that has all the answers, and like if everybody in the room is looking to George Lucas for all the answers, especially when making a film, you're gonna have a problem. And that's
Yeah.
that's what she was talking about, not like trying to bash George Lucas, because she loves she loves the originals, and it was just that that there was an issue when it came to like the Phantom Menace, is that there were just a bunch of yes people like looking to George for that, and you get a lot of that in the film industry, but that's all the topic was, and everybody's like, Leslie's talking bad about George.
That's
Burn her.
we
She's a
wouldn't
witch.
have Star
It's
Wars if it wasn't for George. The thing is,
yeah.
and he will admit it, he does need someone to reel him in a little bit and to
Mhm.
edit things. Even like his
Mhm.
own actors, like they still
Mhm.
like the original trilogy actors still make fun of the dialogue.
Yeah, like it's
It's clunky,
yeah,
but
it
clunky, if you
totally
will.
is. But like it's one of the things where like part of I think honestly part of the reason why the I love you I know line is so famous is because it's part of like the lore of that line is the fact that Harrison Ford improvised I know. And it's cuz George Lucas
Yeah.
writing romantic dialogue and sometimes doesn't hit the mark. And so you gotta like lean on other people. Like it's you
Absolutely.
can be the ideas person, but you need to have like direction for it. And
Especially women listen to women.
please, for the love of God.
Uh,
But the thing that
yeah.
I always think is like so like silly about these arguments that people are like, how dare you say anything mean to George Lucas? What do you mean? He's the one that created it. I just the film The People versus George Lucas exists. It's like we're in this strange circle of people either being like, oh, he's the best person ever, or no, he ruined Star Wars. And it feels like it's like the same circles of no, this was really bad. No, actually it's really good. And it was like people hated him when the prequel trilogy
Oh,
came
yeah.
out. Like they made a whole documentary about it.
Yes.
Oh, it was
And
George
yet, and
Lucas's
now
ruining Star Wars.
we're being like, oh no, everything was fantastic. He's the creator. He has done no wrongs. And it's like, did we not learn from history? Guys?
Revisionist history.
Were we not paying attention to that? No. Okay.
A
That's
lot of
nice.
them were kids growing up with the prequels and just ignoring what happened back then, and just like, oh, the prequels are peak Star Wars. That's always the line that drives me nuts. When anybody says peak, I'm like, oh no.
Yes.
It's like they can be your favorite.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, let them be your favorite. Good. I'm so glad that you love those movies. But like when it comes to like those like arguments of like, no, this is the pinnacle. It's like, did we not learn from history? Were y'all not paying attention to everything that's happened?
Speaking of which, in tying that into Clone Wars, that idea that then you had now a new team of creators and people like, yes, George like oversaw certain decision making, but he wasn't doing like the day to day of making the show and writing all the scripts. So then you had like people like Dave Filoni and everybody else at the helm being able to develop characters, which is why I think we get like great characters like Ahsoka and expand on characters that we already have in such a great way, even Anakin and Obi-Wan. And I'm very thankful that it exists because of Clone Wars. My love for the prequels has grown because it just expanded that whole time period for me. Because before that, I was definitely in the like meh, because I was like 18 or 19 when the Phantom Menace came out. Terrible age.
Yep, my appreciation for the prequels is much higher now, having watched Clone Wars. Now,
Yeah.
I loved Phantom Menace when it came out. I think I was a sophomore in high school, I think, and I did. And then kind of my perception of those movies got a little bit poisoned because I had adults in my life that were kind of crapping on them, and so I felt embarrassed to like them. And then I just like made it my mission, I think, to just not like the next two. I would like watch them, but I was like, oh, they're not that good because I felt like I had other people telling me not to like them. And then watching the Clone Wars, I was like, I don't want to go back and watch them. And I've rewatched them now, and I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, yeah, they're not perfect. They are a little clunky, but so is the original trilogy. And the only reason I don't feel that way about the original trilogy is because I grew up with it. So it's nostalgic to me. But I really appreciate the Clone Wars for making me go back and rewatch all of the prequels and find something to like about them.
Mm. I just won't mention how old I was when the prequels came out, because I wasn't born when the first two came out.
I'm gonna go bury myself in the backyard right now.
So
Well,
yeah, but that's also the thing though. It's like I grew up kind of with the like my dad is a huge original trilogy fan, and so it's like I grew up with like the prequels, and so I was just like, oh yeah, I don't really care about the prequels. And then like I finally watched them, and like I was just kind of like meh when I first watched them, but I feel but like now with like having like a greater like appreciation and like understanding of it, they do. I have like. I feel honestly I feel like part of the reason why I love Phantom Menace is just because of Padme.
She's an awesome
my
character.
girl.
She's so great.
Good. And
what makes me so sad that what happened in the degrading of her character through movies is such a bummer. Which is why again I like Clone Wars, because it fills in the gaps and it like brightens it up a little bit.
Yeah.
One of the things I
think
appreciate
that's just like
sorry,
the cool thing. Oh no, I was just gonna say I think that's kind of like the fun, cool thing about Star Wars is the fact that it's such a wide and expansive universe. Like it's always kind of like the joke about your Glup Shittos of like, oh yeah, that guy in the background, you know, like all of this information about them, and so it really like expands it. Like a while ago I watched The Phantom Menace with like a friend of mine that had never seen it before, and I was like, okay, listen, we're gonna get to one part and then I'm gonna make us pause and I'm gonna give like a 10-minute speech on why all of the handmaidens are incredible, and what all of their deals are and why they're so cool. And she was like, fantastic, incredible. And then I did, and then it was just like okay, this is Sasha, she's literally a war hero and she's so cool. This is Yane and this is Rabe. Like just like listing all of them, and it's like, you know, like I think they say 2 of their names in the Phantom Menace, if I'm remembering correctly. But it's like you really had no idea who any of these these girls were. But now it's like I love watching the Phantom Menace, so I can be like, oh, there's my girls, there's Padme, there's all my girls.
I love that we expand that in Clone Wars. One of the things that drives me nuts for the 2 female characters in the first 6 films, you get 2, and then everybody else is just a cameo. Is that they start off very strong characters, but as far as their story and development, it becomes a part of a male character's story. Like Leia's story writing is based on Han Solo after the first movie, and then Padme just becomes part of Anakin's story versus Padme's story. But in the Clone Wars, you actually get their stories, which is why I love Ahsoka, because it's one of the first times where people took that away from George as far as like because Ahsoka was created for Anakin, to be Anakin's Padawan, but then like just the Ahsoka took on a life of her own, and like you had people that actually cared for a character and wanted that character to develop. And I think that's one of the reasons why Ahsoka's loved, besides being awesome, is that it's the first time we actually get a full story arc. It's even unfinished still. A full story arc for Ahsoka in Clone Wars, at least. And but that's one thing. That's one thing I love about that. And of course, we can't get too far without mentioning Ashley. Ashley Eckstein being the voice of. I know.
The tube top.
The tube top.
I know. I only took this picture
So
because they were
bad.
posing the same.
Yeah.
I think it's an adorable photo. It looks like they're holding hands, which I really think is cute. But the tube top. It's like it's one of those things where it's like I love all of my little Funko Pops. I will never buy the tube top one, just because I don't want to.
But to cleanse our palate on that, we also have just badass. One of the great Star Wars photos of all time. Just right there.
Yeah. Plus, I think her Mando outfit, I think, is my favorite one.
I love her Mando outfit. I do also love her Siege of Mandalore outfit, though. It's really good. It's very cool. But her Mando one is also really cool too.
That's what I meant, though. Like her actual Mandalorian.
Oh, I thought you were talking about in the episode.
That's good too. Like,
from like the Mandalorian
celebration, like all the details on it was just like. Yeah. The TV show does not highlight the details on that costume. It's incredible.
No, it's like all like the beads on the belt. Like it's so cool. It's very cool.
I want to touch it.
It's so cool.
They won't let you touch the costumes.
Yeah.
What's interesting for me is like first watching, the beginning of Clone Wars, like the movie and all that stuff. Like when I first saw it, I was like, okay, because there were some. It was definitely geared for kids as well.
I don't like the movie.
But the movie like with the freaking like little baby Jabba, whatever his name
Stinky!
is.
I do like Stinky though.
But at first, when you first watch it, it's just constantly the noise, and you're like, oh, we're really doing this. But then on rewatching now, like you embrace it, and you're like, this is the best thing ever. The first time
you want to know
around.
something hilarious about like my strange introduction to the Clone Wars? Like I knew that there was a movie, but I started and like I knew and I knew who Ahsoka Tano was, and I like seen like that clip of her like first introducing herself to Anakin, and so I started watching the Clone Wars, the TV show, and I was so because it just like starts and it's just like, this is the Clone Wars. You obviously already know what's happening, and I was like halfway through season 1, I was like, oh wait, the movie is first. I need to watch that to figure out what's happening. I didn't realize. So I had to go back and watch the movie because it just like you just like start in like immediately and like with like Yoda and some of the clones and I'm like, I don't know what's happening, but okay. I'm like, who's this? Who's Ventress? I don't know who this is.
Yeah, like it's so confusing to try to tell people like, no, you have to. There's a movie that's animation, and then you got to watch the show.
I'm actually afraid to tell people about the movie because I feel like if they watch that first, they're not. And then I have to also explain to them like, there's going to be a couple episodes that you're going to want to probably pluck your eyeballs out, like the Sice Noodles thing, like.
Oh,
it's real. I try to like forget about it. I know.
See? Of her weird relationship with Zero.
And like
Zero.
You have to kind of watch it. I mean, you don't have to, but you need to for like what happens.
Or
try to get
my favorite character, Julia, Jar Jar's girlfriend.
Oh God, that's not. I think that's not as bad as Zero the Hutt stuff though. Like that was like, holy
it's just like, what's happening?
That's so weird, but those episodes work for me because for some reason Jar Jar and Mace Windu balance each other out.
They honestly do. Their dynamic is really funny. I saw this like a clip of an interview recently. I saw it recently. It was from a while ago of George Lucas and Dave Filoni like talking about making the Clone Wars, and like Dave talking about like I think somebody asked him like George, what are some of your favorite Clone Wars arcs? And he was just like, the droids arc. And then
He
Dave
loves
Filoni
the
was just like,
droid arc.
when he like came and I'm like drawing all of these photos of this barren wasteland as all of these droids have like an existential crisis. It's like, why would the kids want to watch this? And George Lucas is like, yeah, next week we're gonna talk about banking regulations. Some of them are just so funny when you just have to be like, yeah, this show was marketed to like 11-year-olds and they're like, banking regulations. You're like,
As far as the Clone Wars and Ahsoka, do either of you have a favorite story arc within Clone Wars when it's evolved with Ahsoka? I mean, let's take out the last 4 episodes and any of the other ones besides the last 4, because that's too easy.
For me, it's definitely when she leaves the Order, and this is where a lot of me and my Star Wars friends butt heads a little bit. But as much as I like the Jedi as like the idea of them, I do not like the Jedi Order in this time period. High Republic Jedi, different story. This particular era, it's too filled with hubris, in my opinion, and they did her so dirty. And it made me feel validated in my feelings about it, and like what ends up happening with Anakin, which is not he's responsible for himself. I just mean the things that pushed him a little closer to the edge. Um, and like what bothered me too was like the only person who like apologized to her was like Plo Koon and Anakin. Like nobody else really actually apologized to her. They're just like, haha, you passed the test. And she's like, no, screw that. That's super not cool.
yeah.
And I loved seeing her stand up for herself and be like, this is not cool, and I'm not gonna just let it go. I'm gonna go. And then her finding herself, like her doing her own thing, was super important for me to see. So
Yeah.
I don't like that happened to her, but that's my
No.
personal favorite. The way it was written, I really like that arc.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the writing for that arc is incredible. Like it hurts to watch,
Yes.
which is why it's so good. Like that is also one of my favorite ones. I think you already took that one, so I got to choose a different one now.
So that's one of them.
Yeah.
That is on the list. But what is your second one? Yeah.
I think one of my favorite ones also, just kind of talking about like, if we're talking about like character growth and like finding who Ahsoka is, it's the what is the name of the arc? When she gets kidnapped by
the Trandoshans,
and like by the Trandoshans, like that arc, especially like that final scene with her and Anakin of being like, I survived and was able to help others like because of all this training. Like I am now like know that I am like competent, and like she's probably like 15 at the time, and it's just like this moment of like, yeah, she's not just like just the Padawan anymore. Like she is becoming a competent Jedi, and like a like person, and is able to and has that like holding on to like that like the core values of the Jedi of helping others and being selfless, and so being able to like help these other kids, and Chewbacca.
Through me and through those stories, I see what George Lucas should have written in a little bit better for the prequel movies themselves, about where the Jedi Order is and the cracks within that. Because then you basically suddenly have like Anakin complaining, but like we're like, oh, but they're the Jedi. So that for me was really well done in the Clone Wars, and we see that through a lot of Ahsoka, and the fact that in certain story arcs like Onderon and when she's with the Von Terrys, that you see like, okay, the other side's not that bad, and the Jedi are limiting themselves and not helping people because they're beholden to the Republic, and they're not just like doing what Jedi are supposed to do, and they're kind of losing that path, and that's something we see in Ahsoka, and until Ahsoka leaves, and makes that choice to leave, and even after that, her dealings with the Jedi are like, yeah, you need to help people. Coming back with Bo-Katan, it's like, no, you're Jedi. Come on, help people. Do this.
Yeah, like I can't I can't remember the context of the quote anymore, but there's the quote by her where she's like in my life, if you find people that need help, you help them.
Yeah.
And just kind of that, like, I feel like that is like a constant throughout everything that we see Ahsoka like doing, and no matter like at what point in her life, whether that be with the Jedi or even after she's left before the war has ended, and then even afterwards when she's like in hiding after Order 66, and then the next thing she does is literally like join the rebellion. Like it's this core thing of just being like wanting to help people.
Yeah.
And I love seeing that a lot of that developed when we saw her with Padme too. That a lot of that being able to help other people and break down those barriers is she learned that by working with Padme and helping out there. So like the two of them together, I love.
The brains and the brawn.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I adore their relationship. It's just it's one of those things where like because it's Star Wars and a lot, and again they're especially in like the a lot of the live and all like a lot of the like live like the movies and things, there's not a whole lot of female characters. Like having strong like female like relationships between women is not really something you get to like see very often.
Yes.
And so having this like strong friendship, but also the kind of like a mentor mentee kind of relationship between Padme and Ahsoka is something I love seeing them interact together, because they work so well together, and they're also just really good friends as well, and I just love them.
I always felt, and I want to kind of get your take on both of this, is that I always felt that watching Ahsoka's story arc through up until her leaving that Jedi Order is the path that Anakin should have taken. In that, seeing those cracks in the Jedi, disagreeing, deciding to leave because those paths didn't align. But of course, like Anakin is just all about attachments. But to me, that kind of symbolized where Anakin could have had a better, healthier life had in making a choice like that.
Yeah. Only he would have left.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, because it's like he even like says that during their like that final like not confrontation, but when he like goes after her when she's leaving, of that like I know what it's like to want to leave like the Jedi Order, and she goes, I know. And it's because it's like, yeah, like he definitely had moments where it's like it should have been a like one or the other with these like relationship or with the Order, just of like how you're like trying to figure out your life, but like still trying to hold on to both, and obviously we know what happened there. And so it's definitely that, just like Ahsoka was introduced to be this like foil to Anakin and like dynamic, and so seeing that like that literally happen, of this is a path that he could have gone down, but still didn't choose it, and like really just like those two like those two different paths and where they led. But
and I know a lot of still current kind of Anakin stans love to try to blame other people for Anakin's downfall, but I know it's like, okay, but also Anakin. But you see, just you see in those moments, like he constantly had choices to be or at least places where he could have gone a different path, and that is quite literally a moment that he could have left with Ahsoka, and then and it could have just gone and been a way seeker, you know, something.
Yeah.
Stupid Anakin. No,
Skywalker men.
I know. I love him for some reason.
They're always so.
Ways,
they will always choose the most dramatic option.
They will.
I will say, I loved in from a certain point of view, Yoda just wanting Leia to be the one that's trained, and Yoda being
like, so much
insistent,
less
like, no,
drama.
Not Luke. I've already dealt with the same type of thing with Anakin. Let's Leia. Nobody's on, but Luke.
So much like your father. You're also equally whiny.
For real, and that that's definitely something that drove me nuts. That's what I love about Clone Wars, is that you get not just whiny Anakin. You get a fuller character
Yes.
with that versus just George's writing of just whining. And like you see, I'm currently rewatching Attack of the Clones just because I was in the mood for prequels, and just hearing Anakin like right away just start complaining to Padme. I'm like, how did you fall for him?
Yeah.
She's just so calm and like, oh yeah, that must be very difficult. Like, wow, you have the most patience of anybody I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
She does.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's either like patience or no patience.
Yeah.
It's either extreme patience or like, no,
We
we're getting this
have
done.
like an infinity ocean of patience with Anakin, and it doesn't make sense, but it's there.
Yeah.
Which is why I love that Ahsoka like snips back at Anakin all the time.
Yeah. Oh
Snips
yeah.
and Sky Guy. Speaking of story arcs, just before we move on, a story arc that I love with Ahsoka in it is the Youngling story arc, with her overseeing the Younglings, and of course like Hondo caused a lot of trouble. But of course we get we got the return of Gunji and which is great. And
Gunji.
I know, and it makes me hopeful for some of the others. but just within that, you see like Ahsoka taking charge, and you get to see everything from, of course, Huang that we're gonna see in the Ahsoka show because we saw him in the.
I'm so excited for that.
Oh, I want to know who he's talking to. We've got the trailer to show later, but like, is he talking to Ahsoka, Sabine? Because he looks like he's on the Thal. I don't know. I need to know. Oh God.
I
can't
have
wait.
a absolutely wild theory that I don't think
hear it.
is true. Part of me thinks that he might be talking to Jason.
Oh.
Because I've had, ever since a celebration last year, they showed this very like not even 30-second, very short like teaser for the Ahsoka series. It was a lot of just kind of like her standing really dramatically, or like like pans of seeing part of a ship.
Her with the arms crossed.
Yeah, exactly. Because they like literally just finished their like third week of filming, so they like just straight up didn't have a lot of footage. But they're like, it's celebration, might as well show you something. But there's been this one image that has stuck in my brain ever since, which is of seeing somebody's hand reaching out towards a cup. And ever since I've seen that, I fully believe that is Jason, and that he's trying and he's hoping that he's force sensitive to be like his father, like the father that he never knew, and also the like basically older brother that he also never knew. And part of me thinks, again, this is a wild theory, I don't actually think it's true, but I like to think that it is that it's like, so for some reason Huang is on Lothal, and like tiny little Jason like is hoping that he might be force sensitive and trying to do some sort of Jedi training, and keeps like failing at it. Because I also don't think that he's force sensitive, because honestly it's more so I hope that he's not, because I think that'll be honestly a very interesting arc to have like this kid like want to be like this family that he never knew, and like that arc of like accepting him how he is, like himself as that. But again, I don't think this is true. I choose to believe it's true. We shall see. We don't even know if Jason's going to be in the show.
I mean,
it'll be weird if they don't mention Hera's like 10-year-old child.
I feel like he's got to be in it, or at least mentioned.
Yeah,
Unless they wanted to go the path of don't mention Satine in all of Bo-Katan's story arc. Okay.
Yeah, because I feel like it's one thing to like not mention like your dead sister, who is a huge part of your character arc, who really should have been mentioned.
Yeah.
Another weird thing to not mention your 10-year-old child. It's like, I don't. Where is he? Who's babysitting him? Like, I don't.
I mean, yeah, it was kind of like that in the Alphabet Squadron books, because you get a good amount of Hera, especially in the last book of that. And of course, like, Hera's off being a general, and you know, it's like she doesn't have the ghost with her. So like, there's these little like side mentions of certain things. But You need some sort of, at least one line to address what's going on there.
Mhm.
Just give us, come on,
The
Dave.
missing kid.
Come on, Dave.
Because
And
I also
want to make him look less weird because he looks
The animation was
I
weird.
do really want to know what they do for, because we never seen like a live action Twilight human before, and so I'm really interested to see how they're gonna do that.
I don't like his animation, so I'm really
But
hoping
his animation is weird. But hey, listen, we saw live action Zeb, and he looked really
He
great.
looked so
So I have
good.
high hopes. I have high hopes. I have high hopes. But no, I am, because also it's another thing is the fact that like Ezra, I at least I hope he gets reunited with the Ghost Crew by the end of the season. Like I know we're probably going to see him because he's been cast.
I will burn
but
things
it's
down
like,
if he doesn't.
does
I'm not gonna lie. Be real mad.
yeah, but it's like, does Ezra even know that Jason exists?
No,
Like, did he even know that Hera was pregnant?
no.
And so I want to see
I don't even
a
think Hera
brother
knew she was
reunion.
pregnant.
Oh, if all we got was just that hollow of Ezra and that was it, oh, that would, like Sabine's whole mission is to find
way
him.
they're gonna
Like,
do
yeah,
that to
they
us.
have to.
Yeah,
They have
exactly.
to.
It's like, okay, what are they gonna fail like that drastically? Like, I know we're gonna see him. I mostly want to know where my boy is. But yeah, I really want to see what that. You know how much I love a reunion.
Yes, give it to me.
Yes, I want to, because Jason would absolutely know about Ezra. He would absolutely have probably grown up hearing stories about their adventures and about the fact that like his like pseudo aunt, like Sabine slash like older sister figure, like has been for the last again like 10 years been looking for him. And so to finally like meet the person your family has been talking about your entire life, who's been like gone for all of these years, and then also for Ezra to to even just to find out that Jason exists. I so want to see that.
We've jumped into the show and what could be. There's a couple things. So I do want to address this. I know people are saying that when it comes to the Inquisitor that's popped up in the promo. I don't think it. I don't necessarily know if it's anybody important. I don't think it's Ezra.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
He already resisted Palpatine.
That's true.
Yeah,
like
because that's
already
the thing. It's
did
like
that trial.
he already like had his arc of like skirting really close to the dark side and like coming out of it, and so I don't, from just like a writing point of view, I don't think they're gonna like repeat that. It's like he already like went through this. They're not gonna be like, oh, actually, he did turn.
The only thing that slightly worries me is because Thrawn is involved, and because we also know about Moff Gideon being so obsessed with like fusing himself and making clones with like force sensitivity.
Yeah.
That concerns me, because my first thing, I made a video about this like before I even had any followers on TikTok, like a billion years ago, was about I was worried that Ezra's arc was going to be similar to Echo's arc, where they were going to do something to him like what they did to Echo. And so anything that he does he wouldn't be responsible for it, because it's not like him, and that makes me really worried.
Yeah, no,
so,
I have kind of thought, like, I don't think he's just on a planet and like stuck there. I do think he is like, so there's like, part of me has been wondering, because like we know that like Thrawn is returning, and like with power, not just, oh hey, he showed up, he came back from the unknown regions. It's like he's been doing things. Part of me is wondering if like Ezra is like imprisoned by the remnants of the Empire somewhere.
That's what I'm worried about, that it's going to turn into some sort of like...
Yeah. It's like, I don't know what they would... how they would do something, but it's like I have wondered if he's just like imprisoned somewhere as kind of like like almost like, because I feel like it would be, I think Thrawn would know that it would be worse for him to just be like stuck rotting in a cell away from his family for the rest of his life than him to just like kill him. So like, yeah, I don't know. I just want to know where my boy is.
Let's take a look at the very first trailer that came out however many months ago, just so we can all be on the same. And plus, it's just fun to see again. And then we can kind of talk about some elements. But here's the first trailer.
Something's coming. Something dark. I sense it.
This is a new beginning. For some, war. For others, power.
It's been a while. Things have changed. I started hearing whispers about Thrawn's return as heir to the Empire. We have to prepare for the worst. The Jedi fell a long time ago. There aren't many left.
Perhaps it is time to begin again.
Oh god, that's exciting.
It's so cool. It was so cool. Oh man. Watching the trailer, it was when the trailer first came out, it was like at Celebration this year, and it was like, it was me, Luke, Alanis, and Kier all standing in like a hallway, and I think somebody else was there, all standing in a hallway, huddled over my phone, watching this trailer and just screaming.
We were watching somebody on the Celebration stage being interviewed, and then like I got the Ahsoka trailer just dropped. Oh god. So we're like, there's no reception in this place.
Yeah, no, it was like, yeah, oh my gosh, it was so bad. No, it was, we were like chatting, standing in the hallway, and Luke was just like, he like looked around and was like, a bunch of people are on their phones. Did they drop a trailer for something? And I was like, and I like went on YouTube and I just typed in Star Wars, and the first thing that came up was Ahsoka teaser trailer, and I was like, guys! And we were all just collectively losing our minds.
Yeah. I was like, I was trying to watch. I couldn't hear anything. Like I was just like, okay, I'm gonna have to watch it again with sound. But, some of the things that we see in this, of course, you see the Phantom. We've got Hera. We've got Sabine. Long hair. We know we get long hair Sabine and short hair Sabine. So we know there's like a time jump somewhere within the show. Because some of the shots we see of where Sabine and Ahsoka are talking, like we get like something like that, like down the road with short. We only got the picture of short hair Sabine. I don't think we've seen it in the trailer.
No.
And we got Huang.
Not the officially released one.
Yeah. Like the two other lightsaber, the Force wielders, we find out in interviews that unfortunately he passed away. Is it Ray Stevenson?
Yeah,
Ray
Ray
Stevenson,
Stevenson. Yeah.
So unfortunately,
it was like he's such a talented dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in so many good things. Just, yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, it's like I was looking up his like IMDb. I didn't even like realize, like, have either of you seen RRR?
No. I I almost clicked on it a couple
It
times.
is genuinely incredible. It's like 3 hours, so you have to invest your time, but it's genuinely one of my favorite movies. It is so good. He plays like one of the villains and is very good. And I like finding out that I was like, oh my gosh, like is like he is incredibly talented and he's played like so many other incredible villains. And it's yeah, no, it was
He's also isn't he Gar Saxon?
he is
Rebels?
also Gar Saxon. Yeah, he is Gar
Oh yeah,
Saxon
voice
as well.
of. Yeah, not
Yeah.
in the Ahsoka show, but in
Right, yeah.
voicing. Yeah. And what we find out recently in an interview is that he was a Jedi. His character is a Jedi that survived Order 66. I don't think that would be a big deal to people if Jedi Survivor hadn't just come out. But yeah, here we are, another Order 66. But out of 10,000 people, I'm not surprised that like we got like 20 people.
There was so many to have all of them gone, and it's like like 20 survived. It's like okay, yeah.
Like there's gonna be so many that were out on missions or like whatever you call a Jedi sabbatical. Like they're gonna be somewhere where they may not have clones near them. It makes sense that there would be a decent handful that got away, which is the whole reason there's Inquisitors.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, you're not gonna build a whole division of people to hunt down like 4 people.
No. That's the point I've tried to also make people was like, what do you think Inquisitors are for? Like, obviously people survived and got away.
Mm-hmm.
But okay.
And I think what we find out is that, first of all, they have orange lightsabers, which everybody freaked out. Like, what does that mean?
Cal has an orange one, or can have an orange one.
I
give him an orange one. Cal.
Oh, in the game.
I give him an orange one because it matches his hair.
I wonder if that's like people trying to bleed a crystal but didn't quite have enough hate.
I'm really interested to see what is up because I think they're definitely going to explain it because it's like it's not something we've really seen on screen before, and so I'm very intrigued to see that.
And you could see like I don't know how big of a villain those two will be because like like they show them kind of doing a hallway scene. Which hallway scenes are infamous in Star Wars, but but the fact that like we it looks like he might have been just having a conversation with Ahsoka and then they're fighting in the trailers and then are they gonna stay bad? Are they gonna be villains because we got Thrawn,
right.
or they're gonna be somewhere kind of like they're doing things to survive. They're kind of going a little bit more bounty hunter scoundrelish type of life to survive, but then like who knows? I'm really curious to see what Dave's gonna do with that.
Oh yeah, because I'm also really interested to see like why she's fighting Skull, because like the scene that we have of like where he's like it looks like they're talking to each other and then they both fight. Have you all seen looked at the sky during that scene?
World Between Worlds.
Exactly.
It's the world between
what
worlds.
What is happening?
Yeah.
And I am real intrigued to see what's this show, man. I am. Oh my gosh, I can't even put it into words.
What are they gonna do with World Between Worlds? I have a feeling that might be like a 1-episode thing.
Oh God, what if that's what Thrawn's trying to do? What if he learned about the World Between Worlds and is trying to use Ezra to get access to it?
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
And if he's using other Force users to do that. That literally just popped in my head because, again, I said, the whole Echo thing, the whole, I have a weird feeling that Ezra is being used, Echo is being used.
You have a point.
I don't like that.
Christina,
I also don't like that, but you got a point.
Yeah.
Oh no.
You got to make a video on that.
Okay.
Nobody else gets it. That's Christina's theory. But yeah, that makes me.
My mind is running wild right now. Oh my gosh.
That makes me worried now. Thanks.
Yeah. Because I know.
Thanks. Have to wait months.
We know that the World Between Worlds. Yeah, it's we know the Worlds Between Worlds is going to be featured in this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just solely from looking at the logo that was first released before we had any information.
Yeah.
That it's the Worlds Between Worlds. but it's like what capacity, how, and why is it happening? Has like always been the question. Because like as far as we knew, there was only like the one portal that is gone. It got slurped into the ground, and so
The Purgles don't have anything to do with that, right? With the world.
No.
I need to go back. Okay,
no,
but I'm wondering if
the
because of their
wolves-
ability to do.
it's the wolves.
Yeah,
and
but
knowing
like,
Dave Filoni, he'll want to put
okay.
those wolves in there somewhere.
Of course. Well,
Davis
the
wolves,
names
yeah.
of the two new characters,
Yeah,
they're it's
from
they're
Norse mythology.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd have to Google it to remember exactly without butchering it, and I should know
It's-
this because my family
it's-
is Norwegian.
yeah.
but-
It's a Skull and Hati are
Yeah.
the two wolves,
Okay.
and one of them chases the sun, and one of them chases the moon, I believe.
Yeah.
But
Of
yeah,
course,
so
there's
I am-
gonna be wolves in there.
oh,
But what if
you
they are
got it.
okay? My brain's because I'm like, what if they are actually force sloth wolves, like anthropomorphized? That's not the word that I meant to say. You know it is, right?
Yeah.
Anthropomorphized? Okay.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, because
everybody's brains are like,
Like-
oh god.
I'm just thinking so hard. I'm like, I don't even. This show, I can't. Like, it's.
And
I have
only in
so-
so many episodes. Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
How many?
Yeah.
do
Like,
they
it's
say
eight,
there's
it's
gonna
8
be?
episodes, I'm pretty
Oh
sure.
God.
But I think
Yeah.
I think it might be closer to an hour per episode.
so.
I can't. I
It
don't
better
remember
be.
what was said,
I
but
hope so.
I know Rosario's trying to push for season 2.
Yeah.
She's already like
Well, see,
putting
that's the
things out
thing.
there.
It seems like they might, because I know that they announced, like, it first said it was going to be a limited series, and
Yeah.
then at like a couple months, like 6-ish months ago, it was then listed as like Ahsoka season 1 rather than just like limited series the way that others were.
Mhm.
And then I know that like 6 months ago there was an interview with Ashley Eckstein at a convention where she like mentioned how like somebody had asked her if she had filmed a cameo for Ahsoka, and she said she hadn't, but hopefully in season 2. And so it's like, what do you mean season 2? Also, I don't believe her. I don't believe that they wouldn't give her a cameo in season 1.
Everybody who says they like show up on set or like, oh, I was just visiting, like apparently Katie Sackhoff visited the set. And it's like, really? Just visited?
Should you just visited?
Daisy Ridley like just visited Lucasfilm for a luncheon just before they announced the new Rey movie.
Yeah.
Like we don't just
Oh,
visit.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I remember she like literally posted on Instagram and be like, "Oh, I'm at I don't know if she was at Skywalker Ranch or if she was just like at Lucasfilm,
Yeah.
like headquarters." And then like the next I was like on her like Instagram story, and then the next thing was her being like, "It's not Star Wars related. It's just catching up or something like that." And I was like, Daisy,
Nice.
Liars.
Daisy, we know what you have to say for legal reasons. It's okay. We know.
So, speaking of cameos, there's some other rumors. The one going around again is Captain Rex is Tamara Morrison. But that there's no
Isn't he actually on the
substantial-
IMDb? though?
I heard that he
IMDb,
was
but
on
IMDb
IMDb.
isn't necessarily official though. Sometimes they put things on IMDb with rumors and things that
That's
have come
fair.
out. So,
That's fair.
but the one
'Cause
I'm
I
sure
know
about
that-
is Hayden.
Yeah.
Yes, we knew about
Be-
that though.
Well,
Oh, yeah. They haven't
yeah.
announced Hayden. Yeah.
did they actually announce Hayden?
Yeah,
Okay.
they
I
said
wasn't
he
sure
was
if
going
they-
to be in a. I think
Yeah.
a celebration the year that. Was,
Okay.
well, yeah, I think so.
Because
Right?
before they announced
I
it,
know that
Rosario
it's-
spoiled it.
I know it's not just a rumor.
Because I remember saying to myself,
Yeah.
I swear to God, if I hear him say "Hey Snips" in real life, I'm gonna absolutely lose my ish. I will
Same.
hideous
Same.
cry for days. It would be bad.
Same.
Because when somebody posted a rumor about like Hayden being in it, it's like Hayden Christensen's going to be in the thing. Rosario posted it and said, "See you soon, Sky Guy," something like that.
Yeah.
And then like within minutes,
and then she
removed
took it down.
Yeah, because it was like, oh
Yeah.
no, that wasn't supposed to be the official announcement.
So Disney's like, whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rosario.
Yeah. No, it's you know like how there's like the Marvel has ears everywhere just in case. It was like one
Yeah.
of them like also is not working for Star Wars. They just like swooped in, was like no. Like it got deleted immediately.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Yeah, I mean, I would love Captain Rex. Obviously, like there's Rex.
They're gonna give us Rex. There's no way they're not. Because
Way better.
Come on,
here's the
Dave.
thing about Dave Filoni. He likes
Please
to
give us
deal
closure.
the hardest emotional damage possible all of the time, always. So he's
Oh,
going
yeah.
to give us Rex. It might not be exactly what we want, because he might hurt us with it, but he's going to give us Rex.
See, that's the thing. If they give us Rex, I am worried about what that might mean.
He's very old,
Because
Yeah.
he'd be like 80-ish.
which
And
is
clone
I
years.
think
pushing it
it's-
for clones.
And like,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's like, yeah.
It's going to hurt us. The show's going to hurt us in some way. I know it will, because
Yeah.
emotional damage and Dave Filoni.
I
are
choose to believe- yeah.
coincidence.
Oh, yeah. I choose to believe that Rex is just going to die of old age, and peacefully, and everything is fine. And he's reunited with the rest of the Skywalker family, and everything is fine and dandy. And he's going to like retire on a farm, and then everything is okay.
That's fine.
That's
Yeah,
what
just
I choose to believe.
farm life for Rex. It's
Yeah.
great. I have to ask whoever, but is this a Galaxy Quest reference? I have to know. Deception.
Galaxy
Lies.
Quest.
Rogue One.
Rogue One.
Well, the least line is deception. More lies.
Oh yeah. I have to know though. Oh jeez. Yeah, I'm very much worried about a lot of things coming into the show because at this point in the timeline, nobody is safe.
Nope.
Not a
No.
single person in it is
Yeah,
safe.
Yeah. I remember seeing
Don't think-
a TikTok the other day that it was like, no one here had, like, literally no one here has actual plot armor.
No.
Like, we don't know where any of them are
Yeah,
after
'cause-
this.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was trying to find a way to save somebody, and then I was like, oh, I can't though, because we don't know anything about.
Jason will be fine. They're not going to hurt the child. Anyone else?
I don't know if I trust Dave to not hurt the child. Dave hurt me a lot, so I'm scared. Okay, scared for everybody.
Well, I know they're building up to the big movie though, so they're building
Yeah.
up to Dave's movie. So
Yeah.
they got to have at least a certain amount of people survive it to give us
True.
the bigger story.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
writing Mando season 4, so or at least they were. I don't know what's going on with the writer's strike though.
yeah.
Come on, give the writers what they want. Just give them what they want.
Exactly.
They're underpaid. Come on.
Just treat your creatives like humans, okay?
Mhm.
That's really all
Union
they're
strong,
asking
baby.
You're working on loopholes, industry. Sarah went out to a WGA strike today. Got pictures from that. I'm like,
Nice. Heck
yeah, I know, right?
Heck
Dressed as a pirate.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
But like met one of the pirates from Our Flag Means Death while dressed as a pirate. Yeah, I know.
Excellent.
Very, very
Wait,
great.
who?
Jim.
Wait, which one's Jim? Why don't I remember?
The who
Jim?
dresses like in disguise with like the fake nose and the beard. Yeah.
Oh,
But she was
Oh my
dressed
gosh!
as Jim and met
Right.
Jim.
That's incredible.
Sorry,
Oh
I don't
my
mean to
gosh.
put this on the internet, Sarah, but
Oh my god.
but I'm
am very
I saw the
jealous.
picture and I'm like, ah! It's amazing.
That's... Oh
Right?
my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's
I'm starstruck for her.
but the perfect timing to meet that character. But they were both dressed as pirates, so
Heck yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that.
yeah, it's kismet. It's it's amazing. Before we get too far, let's watch the teaser that just got released in the last week. Just because it gives us extra. Wait,
been a
hold on.
while.
I gotta-
Things have changed. I started hearing whispers about Thrawn's return as heir to the Empire.
Let's watch that again. All right, now we go.
It's been a while. Things have changed. I started hearing whispers about Thrawn's return as heir to the Empire. We have to prepare for the worst. The Jedi fell a long time ago. There aren't many left.
Perhaps it is time to begin again.
Ahsoka, original series streaming August 23rd.
So we got some new stuff in that. Is we saw at Celebration, but a Sabine wielding the lightsaber. But in closer look, when I was looking at it, like that's not the emitter of Ezra's saber. So I'm wondering if there's like a story there. But then of course like
I've seen a lot of people joke that it's Sabine. She probably just altered it for her. So.
Yeah, would not be surprised. I mean, that you can alter a non-force sensitive person can alter the emitter and it's fine. The top.
But then
It's really
also,
just
I mean, we see that the lightsaber droid's there, so.
That's true. Okay, wait. Second big brain moment of thought. What if it gets broken, and that's why he's there, and so it's her trying to fixing it. That's why it looks different.
I mean, we do get a time jump. We get like Sabine earlier and then later, and it looks like Sabine is kind of not doing the warrior thing, like because you see Sabine not in the armor for a while, and then Sabine goes up against I forgot what her name is now,
Hati, Shin Hati.
Okay, thank you. I have names to learn. Terrible at learning names. But
I literally Googled her name a couple days ago because I also forgot what it was.
Once we get to know the characters, we're gonna remember their names. It's just hard.
Yeah.
We haven't like got to know them.
Yeah, we've only like read their names places, and so we have like no one said, yes, it's Skull and Hati. Like no, so it's like.
I'm still hard on myself, especially as a creator trying to be on here. Like I have to know all the things.
Yeah. No, I feel that.
But yeah, I mean, with Huang there, like that's why it makes me wonder if he's talking to Sabine, because he's he knows lightsabers, he knows how to build them, maybe rebuilding the saber, she's got a promise to Ezra to keep that she's debating, and then you see her like kneeling in her armor in front of like Ezra, sort of in front of her helmet, like still with long hair, like in that like okay, it's time to embrace the Mandalorian side of me again. That's my guess on Sabine's kind of story arc in that. Is kind of getting away from the warrior way and then coming back to deal with the promise and embrace that side of yourself again.
Where does this line up with Mandalorian, by the way? Because also if Bo were to mention something to her about we're starting over again, like we were starting Mandalore again, this could also inspire Sabine to go back and embrace her armor.
I don't know if they've technically said. I think most guesstimates are that it's happening like parallel / like slightly after it.
That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. So I'm wondering if Katie just visiting
visiting the set. It's like
also I think we're gonna get a bit of both. I think we're gonna get earlier in the timeline with Mando, and then we're gonna get a little bit later because of the whole Sabine like the possible time jump in that. It could be a very similar time period. Like it's not that hard to cut some hair.
Yeah. Well, she might cut her hair.
I should know.
Fit in the helmet. I don't know.
Yeah. And Sarah said this earlier. Why can't she just get a haircut? Yeah.
No,
so I mean, it's very possible. It could be similar, but
yeah.
Also, the show I just realized comes out on my son Ezra's birthday, and it makes me so happy.
Oh,
yeah.
Wait, that's so cute.
August 23rd is his birthday, so I'm like, oh, Ezra's birthday is on Ezra's show. Well, it's Ahsoka's show, but Ezra will be in it.
It is now Ezra's show.
It's now Ezra's show.
Yeah, it's just because little baby Ezra taking over. It's fine. I'm okay. Little baby Ezra's fine.
Oh yeah.
I know. I don't know if there's going to be time jumps with that because like you see basically Ahsoka visit at least twice on Lothal when it comes to that. So, we see her in First the Mandalorian when she's like looking for Thrawn, looking for information on Thrawn, and then we see Ahsoka with Luke. Which, I'm sorry, I'm going to do this to you, Bucky. I'm going to show that picture. Just
don't apologize. Don't apologize for my phone screensaver.
Yeah.
It was my screensaver for like a year.
one of the best. I mean, probably one of the most surprise cameos that I've ever, like, the jump.
Oh yeah.
The jump of, like, Mando waking from a nap,
my
and then
gosh.
there's Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I was in shambles
You same.
when she showed up on screen, because I was just like, oh my gosh, like Luke Skywalker's in this episode, like whoa, oh Mando's taking a little nap. Like, and I had to pause and then like sit on the floor for a little bit before I could keep watching, because I was like, she's right here. Luke Skywalker is like 100 yards away. Have they already met? Are we about to see them already meet? What is happening? And I was, yeah.
Emotionally destroyed.
Oh, yeah, completely.
So much
And,
like
like,
your father, and I was like,
oh yeah,
why?
there.
Why?
That one line.
Oh, like him being like Mando being like, oh, why are you here? And she's like, I'm an old friend of the family's. It's like, oh yeah.
And we know, like, I wonder if we're gonna get a glimpse of what we didn't get to see in her. I'm hoping, because I need Luke to like maybe hear some stories about Anakin, but more importantly, I need Ahsoka to have the closure that it was okay in the end.
Because that can actually work towards Ahsoka's story.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
like, having that
and
Anakin
we know that she
flashback
got
and-
it. We just didn't get to see it.
Yeah.
And that's why her
No, 'cause
attitude
it's-
changes.
yeah.
That's why her whole demeanor changes, because she's so, like, when we first meet her in Mandalorian, she's so just, like, rightfully so, kind of closed off and jaded. And then, like, after she meets Luke, she snips again.
Yeah.
In Dave Filoni interviews, talking about Ahsoka, he mentions that for these many years, Ahsoka's had this Lone Ranger kind of story, like been alone, closed off, like trying to help people off in the galaxy. But Dave says with this show is what happens when that person tries to open back up again. Like, open back up meaning, bringing people into her life, people that she knew from the past, and it's that opening back up. That's where that gets me thinking. Aspects of that, like embracing some of that past and present, tying up those loose ends, dealing with those things, being able to bring in people she cared about from the past. Again, like Hera and Sabine and Ezra. So I would love to see that. I mean, I would just love just a show of just them having conversations.
It also, I also would like to point out that every time she was called Jedi, she did not deny that in Mandalorian. So, like, she's not a Jedi. She originally has said that she is a Jedi, but she did not say that. And there's a reason she didn't say that, because maybe she is trying to find her way back, or she accepts who she is on all sides of that coin, where she may not technically be a Jedi anymore, but she's still going to embrace that, because everything that she's known, everyone she's loved is pretty much gone. So that was intentionally done, I think.
And it seemed like she was giving Luke
absolutely.
some guidance as well. Like she wouldn't just give Luke guidance if she didn't care about the Jedi anymore. If she, there wasn't a part of her that was that had an aspect of that. Like, she did say, like, trust yourself in certain regards, but she was there helping out and, like, kind of just being around. So I wouldn't be surprised if she was there for guidance.
Yeah. Oh no, I definitely, like, the thing about the I am no Jedi scene is that I feel like people take it a little bit too literally sometimes, because, like, again, in that moment, she's like has just said to her, finally having this confrontation with Vader Anakin, and like having this like moment of like not reconciliation, but of like kind of acceptance on her end from like she's known kind of throughout the season that like this is who he is, but it's like the moment of like but she was like I choose not to believe this. It can't be true. It can't possibly be true. In the moment of like this is what has happened, and like accepting it, but then also knowing what has to be done. And so like that moment where she's like, and then I will avenge his death, and then like the revenge is not the Jedi way, the I am no Jedi moment is less of a like a don't you dare call me a Jedi. It's like I'm not like doing this as a Jedi. Like this is like what has to be done.
Yeah.
kind of
And they're-
moment,
they're-
and like this is
Yeah.
like it's been like so many years since the Jedi Order was destroyed. Like I am not the cookie cutter Jedi. Like this is Ahsoka getting revenge.
And what's interesting is that first of all, Dave didn't think that line would take off so much. The other thing is that Ahsoka was not the first one to say almost that line, because Rex says it in Clone Wars. He says, "I'm no Jedi."
He does. Yeah.
So
does.
Rex actually said that earlier, but that exchange with Ahsoka and Anakin Vader, the last piece of like wisdom that Anakin gave Ahsoka before she got accused of everything and then left the Jedi Order was in the hallway where she kind of wanted revenge, and he says to her, "Revenge is not the Jedi way." So in Rebels, when he says revenge is not the Jedi way, you see that you see that reflection there. So I think it was more about that exchange than it was like saying screw the Jedi.
Yeah.
It's like that, it's like if you had anything to do with my master, like I'm here to end this now.
Yeah, especially because it's like I've seen some mild discourse happening because the trailers call her a Jedi, and it's like, are y'all arguing with the people who are making the Star Wars?
Literally, with her literal creative father.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's, but I think it's more so of like, I do think that this show will be. Redemption isn't the right word for it, but kind of like finding yourself again, because like it's in that the like outcast rebel. Wait, no, it's something outcast rebel Jedi. It's her through the years of like being an outcast, being outcasted, then becoming a rebel, and then it ending with Jedi. I think that's where she's going to end, is that like kind of coming back to like accepting of like being a Jedi, rather than this kind of like something slightly separated from the Order, and like knowing it, because it's something in during like the Siege of Mandalore arc, when she's having like the holo call with the council and like Yoda, and she does even say like, it's like, I think it's Yoda, it kind of is like inferring like, hey, like, are you gonna come back? And she's just kind of like, not yet. And so it's still the like, that it wasn't a no, it was a, you all still have problems that y'all need to figure out. There is a war going on that I have a lot of feelings about, and like the what the Jedi are doing as part of the war, and I gotta go help save Mandalore right now, and like help all these people. But it's like, I think she always wanted to come back, but never had a chance to.
By the way, we've got Outcast, Rebel, Jedi right there.
Yeah.
There's your evolution.
Yeah.
I had to get all these pictures. Oh, by the way, speaking of this, sorry, I still want to keep talking about this, but this is me with Team Tano.
Yeah.
I know I had to, like, when I was like, oh, I'm gonna get my picture with them in my Rex arm, and then like, I'm gonna have to pay for their autographs now, because
You see how happy D looks holding the Rex helmet?
He has to take the helmet.
Looks
Yeah,
so
I'm like,
happy.
oh, I'll take that. Yeah.
Oh,
And then
that's
of course,
incredible.
yeah, like he asked, oh, can I hold that? I was like, yeah.
No, Rex, you may not.
And of course we got Bucky with Ashley, and I love when Ashley wears that top. That's
it's so cool. Sure, she just has the best fashion, man. You can't tell from that photo, but I was shaking.
That's the great thing about photos.
I said maybe like 10 words because I was just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
Me, Bucky.
Just like, she's real.
I always say that I've never been cool around a celebrity, but at least like I've kept it together enough where I haven't embarrassed myself.
I didn't make embarrass myself, but
No,
like,
that's the thing.
I
As
get
long as I didn't
starstruck.
embarrass myself.
Yeah, no, I get starstruck so easily, and so it's like getting a photo with the Ashley Eckstein. I was shaking because I was like, oh my gosh, it's her.
I mean, she's just such a kind human.
She is.
It's
She's
just always
really
a
the
delight.
best.
Yeah. So at Celebration, I did my Ahsoka cosplay for the first time on the
so
Ahsoka
cool.
Ahsoka panel day. Wait, here's I've got one.
Waking up so early to get into that panel.
So early.
So
of course,
early.
there's
I'm
Sarah
sure
and
you. Yeah.
I. Yeah.
I'm sure you probably had to wake up way earlier than I did to get orange.
Yeah, because that was my first time doing the full makeup. I had never.
Oh my gosh!
It came down to the wire because I was working on
didn't even-
all the armor. So like, the makeup was the last thing. So I'm so sorry, Sarah, for doing that last minute. But I learned some lessons that day. Some hard lessons about makeup. First of all, when you get to put the makeup on, do all the pictures and videos early.
Yes.
But
also setting spray.
Mm-hmm.
If you
So
ever
much
do it
setting
again,
spray.
make sure you get setting spray.
Powder and setting spray.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
yeah. I straight up I was Disney bounding Ahsoka that day, and so I did my makeup like and all of like the white face marks while I was waiting in line because I was like, I'm gonna have time to kill. So I was like, yeah.
And here's a couple more. Here's me with a bunch of Ahsokas. That was nice. That was just after the Ahsoka meetup, where I was like,
Yeah,
up
that was so
Rex
fun.
in the background.
Yeah. And then of course,
I think there's
Chris.
also Thrawn back there too.
Oh no.
Yeah, there is.
I see a Thrawn back there.
And is that our Alani? Yeah.
Maybe.
And then of course, Chris, Star Wars lawyer, did a pose with me in his yeah. We did that's actually from Rebels, that pose. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, by the time we did all of that, like it was already in the afternoon, and like I've been in because it was like getting in line early enough to be able to try to get in for the Ahsoka panels because we didn't have we basically got nothing that weekend as far as the panels are concerned. So it was a lot of lines, waiting in the lines, but we did get in, thankfully. Seeing Thrawn's face, there's
oh my gosh,
yeah,
it was so cool. What stage did you guys get into?
We were Galaxy.
Oh, I was also at the Galaxy stage.
And when they had all the Ahsokas go up there for the Galaxy, before it started, I went up there with everybody.
Oh, so you got in before me then? Okay, because I was like stuck in the like standby line for so long to the point where I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get in. Like straight up by the time, like, because when there's like the standby line right in front of like the actual like the stage and stuff like that before you could be able to go in. I was just like waiting there to the point where the panel started at 11, I think. Like I was like finally walking through the doors and they're like, okay, awesome everybody, and now the Ahsoka panel. I was sitting down as like it had started.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
I was so happy that you got in. I was like, did you? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I definitely learned lessons. I was melting for a while.
Oh yeah.
I was melting, and I'm sorry. Like Julie was there with me. There were 4 of us, and I had the makeup. I had the headpiece on. My ears were covered. I had no like mobility in my neck, so I couldn't look from side to side. So I had to like do this to see people. And I was always kind of the one that walked in front when we went somewhere. So if they would try to call my name, I'd still be walking, and they would like stop, and then I like stop and I look around like, wait, guys, where'd you go?
Oh no.
It was one of those days.
Costumes are fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time I actually took pictures out there, like everything had been like rubbed off of my shoulders and stuff like that. It's fine. I got Ahsoka show the series coming up, so I got to do some redo some cosplay stuff for that anyway. It's timely. I have to. That's gonna be a lot of work. But
Worth it.
yeah, that was basically just yelling for me. And if you were there, like in the hallways, it was complete chaos. Well, we were first. So for what we're talking about, we were just talking a little detour on Celebration. But we're basically talking about the Ahsoka series, the new upcoming series. And speaking of Thrawn, the announcement, like when they had Celebration of having Lars Mikkelsen come out as Thrawn, like right after that trailer released, was amazing. Because if y'all don't know, like you know, but he was the voice of Thrawn in in the actual Rebels.
Such chaos.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Basically that's pretty much Celebration is such chaos.
Such chaos. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But then it was to me it was odd to like have him come out like it's Thrawn, but then just when he talks you just hear Thrawn. You're like Thrawn's on some god. He sounds scary in person.
Yeah.
Even though he was so nice,
Yeah.
just
It's always
scary.
funny when like yeah. It's funny when like voice actors, it's just like their voice when they're doing a character. So whenever you hear them talk, you're like, oh my gosh, that's this person.
Except like
You know, he's
let's
just
get G. Bradley
the
Baker,
kind-looking,
who's every animal.
kind-looking man. Kind-looking man, and then you're like, it's Mithran Naruto.
But like meeting Steve Bloom was like the complete opposite.
Yeah.
He's also just he's so freaking bubbly and nice.
Yeah.
He's so nice.
And he so doesn't have that voice. We talked
Not at
about.
all.
Neither does
No.
Matthew Mercer, who is an acquaintance of mine, and he's in
You know Matt Mercer?
yeah, he's friends of friends, and like we're like PlayStation friends, but we only played games together like twice. But I used to like run into him at parties and stuff all the time. Him and are they married now? They might be married now.
Yeah.
But anyway, hearing his voice when we were like out at events, he does sound like Leon Kennedy a little tiny bit. So it was like, stop that. It's like, what? I'm just talking. I'm like, I know, but it's weird. Or like if we were at a party or something, and like I thought somebody was playing video games, and it's like, no, Matt's just
No, it's just him speaking. Because you played Survivor, right?
I have not played it yet. I'm almost done with Fallen Order right now.
Okay.
I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, this isn't a spoiler because it's like a random character, but there is a random like NPC you can meet, and it's voiced by Matt Mercer, and it was such a double take. Like I was watching my friend play it. He was just running around. He talked to some random dude, and I was like, "Is that Matt Mercer?
Like, Leon Kennedy?" Okay.
Huh?"
Yeah, him and oh gosh, the guy that plays the original Joel. My brain is not functioning right now. Troy Baker.
Oh, yeah.
They're both in everything. Like,
yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Just every time Christina, like, oh yeah, I know this person.
I lived in LA. I mean, like that. I was in the industry. Like,
that's true.
Yeah. And, like they're all nerds too, so like we're all nerds and we're all in the industry.
Yeah.
I mean, Christina is the reason why. Like Demetrius was on the show a couple weeks ago. I got to interview him, who was the Darth Vader suit actor.
Yeah.
We had some great conversations, by the way.
He's
really,
an incredible dude.
Really diving into like the psychology of Anakin and Vader. Super interesting. Like one of the things, I know this is a tangent, but like that he was mentioning that like Deborah Chow was talking about like Darth Vader, like basically like being on a leash, constantly like being on a leash, like, and then those moments where Vader like goes at it, like it's just the leash breaks, and but that's just that constant like a dog on a leash, like at you, that intensity. I'm like, oh, yeah. That is a great description of Vader.
Oh,
that
yeah.
Intensity.
Yeah, I always would think of the scene at like Fortress Inquisitorius where like Obi-Wan and Leia like escape, and then he shows up and the force lift of Reva, and like that like storming down the hallway. Like I've never seen Darth Vader run. I don't think he will. But like
Not on
that like
camera. No.
angry like speed walk was terrifying.
It's
To
much scarier
watch.
than
It
That was
so
Demetrius.
good.
because
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
super, and Demetrius is he's a big dude, which is why I think I told you the story when I first met them. He and his brother are circus performers. They're from Ukraine and they're circus performers, and they lived above me, and we would hear like the weirdest noises in the middle of the night, like, and I mean thunks too. Like I'm like, are they dropping bodies up there? Like what's going on? So I went upstairs one day and introduced myself at like 2 a.m, and they were super embarrassed. They were making a lot of noise, and he was like, "Do you want to see what I'm doing?" And I was like, "Sure." He had one of those giant circus balls, like the little big wooden circus balls. He
Yeah.
is balancing on one foot while juggling. And then he fell, which is what I'm hearing is the thunks. And I'm like, this is not what I expected at all.
Wow.
This is awesome. And it was neat because like they would practice their circus stuff like in the courtyard of our apartment complex all the time. And yeah, they're just really cool people. But he's huge, so like you have to imagine like when he fell, it really sounded like our roof was gonna cave in above us. But
Dang.
he's a very talented. Like he's very good with his body. Like he can move. Very scary because he is just, yeah. I would not want to see some dude marching at me like that. That big dude like that
No.
marching at me in the middle of the night.
Oh my gosh, yeah, no. Dang. That's
No,
so cool.
I don't want that. And then to me, like, I'm a fairly big dude, but like he's huge, so that would make me very
Yes.
intimidated. Yeah, and I'm used to being kind of. I don't try to be
he's also
intimidating.
super duper
but-
nice, which is like
Yeah, that's true.
he's like a super
That
duper nice
helps.
guy, like wrapped in this like scary person's body. Like I don't know how else to describe it. But yeah, he did his body movements. I was so excited when I found out that was him. I was like, no way. He's like, yeah, I couldn't tell you about it because of NDAs. I knew you'd be
Yeah.
excited when you found out.
Dang. That's
I
wild.
was so excited the very first time I ever had to sign an NDA. Like, oh
It's
my
like
god,
so exciting, but then you're
this-
like, oh
yeah.
man.
I know, but now I can't talk about it. Oh man.
Yeah.
But times have passed for most of the things, so some I can talk about, some I can't. Like I think my first NDA was I don't think I had to sign one for So You Think You Can Dance, but I gave Angelina Jolie a dance lesson. That was one of my I know.
Wow.
That's a whole story.
Wow.
But that was definitely a shiny moment of like the first time I had to sign something like that. I'm like, oh my god, this is cool.
Dang.
Oh no, yeah. So somebody mentioned Resident Chicken in the Sarah. If you ever, whenever you're around Sarah next, she makes the best chicken sounds. That I know. Sorry, tangent. That's why I don't try chicken sounds because I'm already around somebody who has perfected one. So I'll stick to my other sounds.
Her and Alan Tudyk should get together
I mean,
and do chicken noises.
just to get Alan Tudyk and like D. Bradley Baker in a room together, just doing animal noises.
It would sound like there was a farm in that room.
Because like the game that just the open world game that just got the trailer dropped a couple days ago. I mean like D. Bradley Baker is Nyx, the little creature. I'm like, of course he's
The
Of course he
axolotl puppy.
is.
yeah.
Of course he is. The adorable little like
He's an axolotl puppy.
thing. It looks like an axolotl and a loft cat had a baby.
Yeah. Which I want
It's
all
so
the.
cute.
By the way, I want all of the loft cats. Please show us
They're so
loft cats
cute.
multiple times in the Ahsoka series because they're
Mhm.
my
Thankfully,
favorite.
They're
we know we
they're
at least
adorable.
get one.
He's so cute.
I hope it's like a pet love
I
cat that
remember-
we see a lot.
Yeah.
Me too.
I hope so too. I remember like forever ago, I was at Disneyland, and I was in downtown Disney at the Star Wars Trading Post,
Mhm.
and like in the back of the store, there's like all of like the like stuffed animal like creatures and stuff like that, and there's this like little girl with like her mom, and she's like looking at one of like the stuffed sloth cats, and she was like, what is that? And I was like, oh, this is a loth cat. And I got to like show this little girl what a loth cat was, and she was like, wow, and she like petted the stuffed animal. It was so cute. It was so cute.
You had your Jedi Master moment.
I did. It was incredible. It was a very fun moment of like showing this child like look at how cool Star Wars is. There's this really cool cat.
Space kitties.
Space kitties.
I know. The one that was the one in the trailer looks adorable. The one that was in Mando was definitely like
yeah.
Like
It's very
it, you know, it
CGI'd
counterattacks.
in Mando, I think.
Yeah.
So it's just, and you see it so briefly, just like running across an alleyway. You're like, what is that?
Looked a little bit scary in that one, but the one in the trailer looks adorable, and I want that to be Sabine's pet loth cat that we see a bunch.
Yes.
I hope so.
That's what I want in life.
She would be a cat mom.
She would. Totally.
I can't explain it, but she would.
Agreed.
Yeah, Ezra's got the wolves, so you know, Sabine and cats
and space whales.
And space whales.
Ezra with all the pets, all that connected. No, that so in the
He's simply a Disney princess.
Yeah. That's true. Ezra's a great Disney princess. But in the extended trailer that we saw at Celebration, there spoilers, sorry, but there are Purgle. You see them in a brief moment of that in the trailer. It's hard to tell exactly what the scenario is, the way they splice trailers. But
it's huge. Well, it was, you can see it's Ahsoka and Sabine in a ship, like flying at a Purgle, and I forget how absolutely massive these things are. But if I'm remembering correctly, though, it's short-haired Sabine, though.
They're probably off and getting ready to go find Ezra.
My guess is that scene is from the very beginning of the show, and that's like, and from immediately after like Ahsoka the White shows up, and like I think it's them being like, yeah, exactly, and I think it's them like going, yeah, we're gonna go find Ezra, and then I think something bad happens and they fail, and then that's why there's the time jump.
Well, and they gave us some nods of Purgles in this last season of Mando too, because
prepping us.
Din Grogu saw them.
Din Grogu. My favorite thing after when that finale came out, everyone went, his name isn't Din.
Yeah,
what?
So it's gotta be like a title or something then. Like this is like our like a foundling. Maybe it means foundling. I don't fucking know.
What got me was like 2 minutes after that aired, and if you just said like, oh, I loved how Grogu, people on the internet were like, his name is Din Grogu, don't disrespect him. Like, what? We literally just like,
that's when I call him
there's two
Baby
names,
Yoda,
you can still call him
Grogu. Them.
Yeah.
Baby Yoda.
Yeah,
it's like,
I got actually
John
by
Favreau
a 7-year-old one time when I called him Baby Yoda.
It's Grogu.
Like literally a 7-year-old. She had a little Grogu t-shirt on. I was like, nice Baby Yoda shirt. She was like, his name is Grogu. I was like, okay.
I mean, what do you say?
Right.
You're not gonna like go like actually like to a kid, yeah. You're like, well, yeah, okay.
I was like, I was like, okay. I mean, like you're right, but also, wow, okay, you're 7.
She's already calling herself a true Star Wars fan.
Oh my gosh.
I just had this image of like, of course, like Ahsoka the Grey, Ahsoka the White, of like somebody calling her Snips, and like, Snips, yes, they used to call me Snips, like just having that like Gandalf moment.
Yeah, I mean, last year while they were filming Ahsoka, Rosario Dawson posted how they actually the first day of filming was on her birthday. And they gave her a pin that said happy birthday, and it said happy birthday Snips, and then on the bottom of it had some Arabesh written on it, and it said Stormcrow Crew, and Stormcrow is one of Gandalf's names, like one of the names he gets called.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And so it was just like, ooh. And so my guess is that like Stormcrow was the name that they were using as the like fake filming name, and so that was very fun to see of it like it was Stormcrow Crew, which was very
Stormcrow is
this
the
is one,
perfect perfect.
It's a very
code.
cool name.
Yeah.
It
love
was
that.
actually
Well
really
done, Dave.
funny. A couple weeks ago, I watched through the Lord of the Rings trilogy with two of my friends, extended editions, of course.
I was gonna
And
ask.
I
Yeah.
oh,
film version.
it's always got to be extended editions.
This is why we're
And
friends.
I don't remember who there is. At one point, somebody does call Gandalf Stormcrow, and I literally like paused the movie and it was like, so Ahsoka Tano. It's very funny. I was just like, oh yeah.
I think it might have been like Grima or something. This says in the movies.
It might have been. I
It
feel
might
like
have been
it
one
might
of the
have
elves
been.
because it's a nickname from Mithrander is the elven name for him, but I feel like it might have been one of the elves. It might have been Galadriel actually. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've watched them.
I think it might have been. What's his face? I don't know. Honestly, I don't remember who calls him it. I know somebody does.
Where's
Because I
Don
was
Marshall
just like,
when we need him?
yeah, seriously. I feel like his face is just gonna appear on screen. You're like, hi, I'm Scarlet
Actually.
Rivers guy. Yeah. So, in this moment,
Somebody help!
Somebody
I
help.
had the feeling it was
Dawn.
on in Rohan, but yeah. Now I feel like a
I feel
bad.
like it was.
Now I feel like a bad fan. I don't know the answer to this in the movie.
I know. I'm like, it's so brief and it's like one time, but I was like,
Googling it right now.
Please, thank you.
please tell us.
That's gonna drive me nuts if I don't know the answer to this. What's funny about all of us Star Wars fans?
I feel like
is
it
we
was
do
in
a lot
Rohan.
yeah.
I feel like
It
it
says
was.
Theoden.
It was a theater. Okay, I knew it was one of them.
Yeah, I think it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
While he
That
was
makes
under the
sense.
influence of
Is it? I feel like it's after that.
Was it?
I think it's after.
I thought it was when he was under the
Gets-
influence of Sauron.
No,
We
I think it's
off course.
afterwards because he doesn't really say much when he's under the influence. He's just kind of like,
Yeah.
I think it's afterwards because like something happens and like Gandalf is really like annoyed at him, and he's just like, ah.
Oh no, I'm gonna have to watch the entire trilogy again.
Oh darn.
Oh no!
Oh.
How dare you?
Oh no. Once I get through the prequels, I'm going back to that. Any as far as the trailer or anything that we're seeing, are there any hopes for the Ahsoka show? Like things that you hope to see in there? Like obviously like maybe a Luke thing, but is there anything that you hope with Ahsoka's character or how the Ghost Crew is related to this? But are there any extra hopes for you with this series coming out?
That was really loud. Sorry, that thunder scared the crap out of me.
Oh,
I
heard that.
I don't know if you.
Yeah.
I did hear that.
It shook my bed, so it scared me.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry. What I had said earlier still remains the same. I would really like to see some sort of resolve for her. Like, wow, the thunder actually distracted me. Some closure with Anakin. Whether it be him saying, like, hey, Snips, and appearing as a Force ghost, whether it be, oh my god, that would kill me. I would die.
Same.
Or, like, just some sort of closure with Anakin, because she deserves that. And so does Anakin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I definitely, yeah.
Does he?
I think, yeah, well, it's like, listen, he's dead. He doesn't care.
He's redeemed now.
I definitely agree that I think Ahsoka deserves closure. And it's one of those things where I've definitely thought about this, and like, Ahsoka deserves closure. Anakin doesn't deserve forgiveness though, but she deserves the closure of like having that final like end to it. But it's also something that I hope they don't make it all about her relationship with Anakin, because she is so much more than just his Padawan. And so I hope that they have that moment of closure, but then we get to like, so that she can move on. But
I have a feeling they're going to deal with that within the first episode or two. I think it's going to be. My guess is it'll be an earlier aspect to the show in some of that. This is just a guess, so that she can move on and start to grow, versus like waiting later in the show. So in the trailer, I think a lot of what we get in these trailers is from the first couple episodes, and that's generally what Star Wars tends to do, is give you a lot from the first couple episodes and then not much after. But
yeah, they don't want to give away.
Yeah, because we see her in the trailers going to whatever temple or whatever ruins it is and exploring that, and then you see her get ambushed afterwards, like on the way out. And then you see her like running away and like things exploding. So I'm wondering if dealing with some of that, or if World Between Worlds or something is dealt within that. It's hard to say, but I have a feeling that might be where we get some of that resolve, or at least Cameo's storyline there somewhere. Just guesses until the actual show comes out. You know, we don't know. Yeah, I'm just trying to piece it together. It's fun.
Yeah. No, it's very fun to speculate, but all of my theories are always usually wrong, though. So I just kind of throw things at the wall. And
it's part of being a fan, though. It's just fun to do that.
Yeah.
Speaking of, every time I have a theory that I'm like, oh, it's a good theory, and I don't make a video, it ends up being true, and I get so mad. Like, so spoilers for Bad Batch, the most recent. Everyone here has seen it. If you haven't, look here a second.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
With the that older woman in being basically a grown-up Omega. Like, I knew it the second we saw her because I recognized her voice, and because of her glasses, I was like, no, that's Omega. That's that's a female clone. And I knew that, and I didn't make a video about it because I was like,
oh my gosh.
And then I really regret it. Because
no, I thought it was I was just like, hey, she's also Kiwi. Interesting. Huh.
Yes.
And then it was like,
that was it for me.
Lost my mind.
And then like I've made theories that are obviously like, a lot of people did too with armor, which, hey, I guess technically we still don't know, but then you say them, and then they're wrong, and you're like, ugh. But yeah.
Well, to me, it's part of the fun. It's for the fans that like get on this, like they're in their brain, this thing's going to happen, like this cameo's going to happen, or this thing's going to happen. That's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Because then when it doesn't happen,
exactly.
like there's an uproar.
But I always find it strange when people. Yeah, I always find it strange when people are just like, I have this theory that this thing is going to happen, and then it doesn't happen, and then they're like mad about it. And it's like, well, they didn't say it was. Why are you mad about a thing you made up and decided on?
I haven't
like
been
if
mad
the Inquisitor
about
doesn't end up being anybody. What's that?
Yeah.
I haven't been mad about any of my theories not being true. Like, it was fun to think about, and I was like, oh, okay. Like,
I'd rather be surprised.
Yes.
Exactly.
I'd rather have the writing take me somewhere I didn't expect.
Yeah. I'm very curious about that Inquisitor, because I don't think it's Ezra. But they were also like, oh, I wonder who this is. And like, I keep thinking, do you remember when WandaVision was coming out and whoever plays Vision, I can't remember the actor's name, Paul Bettany. Now I remembered it. Yeah. Paul Bettany was just like, oh, there's a really cool cameo who like Vision gets to talk to in the season finale, and then it was just him again. Yes. Part of me is wondering if it's kind of like they were just kind of being like, oh, it's gonna be this thing, and then the fans are being like, oh, it's gonna be Mephisto.
Yeah, it's Mephisto. It's Mephisto.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the Inquisitor that Inquisitor and also the Armorer, I feel like are the Star Wars versions of Mephisto.
Yes.
Of just like so many theories about who this person is, and they're like,
God, so even in WandaVision, remember, like they showed a close up of a fly that was like on the curtains. It's Mephisto. I'm like, calm down.
Fly being Mephisto. Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's a fly.
It's a fly.
But why is it in the trailer? It means something.
Yeah.
So the thing that has me curious with the Inquisitor is a combination of what's in the trailer, and then the picture of the Inquisitor that's being released for the magazine, Empire magazine. That you see the Inquisitor with the basically the trees in the background, and then you see Ahsoka in the trailer with the trees in the background. Looks like the same background, could be different, but looks the same. And then that's when Ahsoka is talking to somebody about Thrawn being heir to the Empire.
Yeah.
So that's where my confusion comes in, because like, okay, that person's there, who is she talking to? And of course they had to drop heir to the Empire, which is I know the fanboys went nuts, but this is not going to end well for anybody.
Yeah.
The funniest thing that I've seen people say about that, they're like, "Oh, this is how they're going to introduce Mara Jade." And it's like, no, guys,
Dave
she's
would
not
never do
happening.
that.
Give up already, please. It's not going to happen.
Dave being the
It
apprentice
wouldn't
is
be in
never
any
going to do
form
Mara
that would be
Jade.
satisfactory.
Yeah. No.
It would not make anybody happy. I mean,
No.
yeah. So let it go.
Yeah.
That's why, like,
I
you know,
don't
saw
think
some
Luke
people...
Chanel Boots Skywalker is gonna. I don't think.
I mean, yeah.
Just saying. Just saying.
Luke can be anything you want. But we know.
We know. We know.
We know. But yeah, I'm very curious how they're going to integrate Heir to the Empire, like how Timothy Zahn's some of that influence is going to come into this, because that's basically what I think Dave is pulling a lot from. I mean, they wouldn't have just put that in the trailer if it wasn't. But how much of it they're actually going to pull from that will be interesting. Because like all the things that people said as soon as that line dropped, all the things that people on the internet were saying is like none of those things were going to be coming true. Like there's no way they're going to have Mara Jade or like certain aspects or Luke.
Or Joris Sabayoff.
Luke.
Yeah. You let your brain come back to reality, and that this is Ahsoka's show. But I'm excited. I'm excited, definitely. I can't believe we have to wait till August 23rd. By the way, is the date that they announced like a week ago, something like that.
It's
with the
9
trailer.
weeks, I think.
Is it 9 weeks away?
I think so. Because it's
This is gonna be the longest 9 weeks. Thankfully, we get
It's for his birthday.
a Marvel show coming out next week. That'll help.
Oh yeah, Secret Invasion comes out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, 21st. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thankfully. Get me distracted somehow. I didn't do this before, but cause I've already kept you. Cause I just love talking to the two of you, so I could stay here forever. But I am so glad, first of all, Christina, that there's just been thunder and lightning and not anything else.
Yeah, I keep I'm still refreshing it because the watch is still there. I'm like, stay that way or go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm relieved that the power didn't go out too, so I was worried.
Yeah.
The lights were flickering before I got on. So I was like,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But thank you, and thank you again for having me on because I do.
I'm so glad. Yeah.
I totally enjoy it, and I love seeing Bucky too. It's our first time outside of Celebration getting to like really chat. So
Yeah. No, I was when I heard that you were gonna also be on, I was like, oh my gosh, I get to talk to Christina again. Yay.
I always try to, on these things, pair people up that I think either that are already good friends or like they're obviously like, no, they like no matter how much time they've talked, fast friends. And I always felt that with the two of you myself too. It's like even though we didn't know each other that well early on, I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely a person that would work well in my squad. Yeah. And I love having both of you on. And of course, like anytime either of you want to be on, like this is a place for you. Yeah. Because you're some of my favorite people, and and it'll be too long until I actually get to see either of you in person. But
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But yeah. At least I know. Yeah. We always make something happen. Star Wars fandom. But I didn't do this in the beginning. But where can we find each of you on the socials? Let's go with you, Christina.
So pretty much the only place I post publicly is TikTok, and it's Boba Fett, which just like, can they see my name on here? I just realized that. Yes, they can, right? Yes.
Yeah.
So Boba Fett. I'm on Instagram too. I don't really post on there very often. And same with Twitter, except for there's an 83 at the end of it. And Twitter's kind of a cesspool, so I'm not on there very often either. But definitely on the TikTokies.
I don't post on Twitter either. Like I have an account for Code and Fulcrum, but like it's too hard for me. Bucky, what about you?
I am at gingersareplants on TikTok and Instagram. I don't have a Twitter because Twitter scares me. But yeah, no, I'm just at gingersareplants on TikTok and Instagram, and I post there both there, like Instagram relatively frequently, TikTok a lot more frequently.
Yeah, same.
Post there a lot. So
Same.
if you want to hear anything about Ahsoka Tano, I'm your person.
And that you both have theories that you need to make videos on now.
Yeah.
I expect them in a couple days. Some theory videos from the two of you. I got nothing new. I got nothing new to introduce, so you're my only hope. I didn't bring anything new to this one. All my old theories just brought up. But of course, in 2 weeks on here, I have Jen Markham that's going to come on. We're gonna interview her and get to know her because she's everywhere. Star Wars, Marvel, she's everywhere. But yeah, I'm working on next week's. Stay tuned for that on what that. I just need to solidify a couple things. But thank you again for joining for Secret Transmissions. Thank you, Bucky and Christina, for being on here and just being a delight. And thank you all out there for watching and joining us for Secret Transmissions. This is Fulcrum saying